It's another episode of The Dawning Experience with Chami Moroke. Monokohai Season 2 has officially opened. Thank you so much for choosing us as The Dawning Experience because Season 1 was just amazing. In 7 months, you guys showed us the most amazing love and but on today's episode, Kinali, an actress, a producer, a director, and also Standard Bank Young Artist for Theatre 2023, ke MoMo Matsunyane. Hey, today ko pala shebeng something. Ke kentse di flat shoes because I was like, hey, o motelle ko nna. But I was like, you know what? Ke tlo ba ready. Anyway, kopo ska lebala gore o interact le rona on Instagram too. It's Dawning Experience. So please, o ska lebala, and also don't forget to subscribe. Momo, how are you?
I'm very well. How are you? Because please do
no. You consider it because now I always check on the socials. No, difference.
So I guess I'm the one catching up to you today.
Because
oh.
How are you gonna cry?
I'm very well. Wena? Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being so beautiful, so amazing.
I mean, I try.
Anyway, Momo, you know, with the Dawning Experience, Momo ke mang? Kore a re itse mo o re itse gore Momo ke mang? O goletse kae?
Ke modiragatsi, ke mokwadi, ke a opela, ke goletse ko Spread View.
Ke go tlo shapa le boko.
No, next year. Ke goletse ko Spread View, le ke godisitswe ke kokwaka up until the age of 13. Ebe ke lo go nna le papa ka ko Winchester Hills. Yeah. That's, I guess, in a nutshell, that's me. Yeah.
How ka lebella gore the way go tseng ka teng? How was the upbringing? No go tseleng khono. How was it? No le stoutu.
O itse bana ba koko man. O ka nna stoutu, but not too much, right? Because I come from a very strict family. So my grandmother nasatse nonsense. Fatuku le panta khale ke betswa yang. I wouldn't say negele stoutu, but I think
nna ke sa go tshepe because go na le loko
why?
E o ka re wa ifita.
No, I don't think any more than any other child.
Yeah.
You know. And then when I was in what was it called? Grade 6, I was that's when I went to boarding school. Wow. A few of my friends getting pregnant very young, and they were like 16, and not my child. And then Ankisa ko boarding school. So I was in boarding school ko Limpopo for 3 years, grade 6, 7, and 8. And then I became Buahape and then continued up until matric ko Sacred Heart College, which is one of the best schools I attended. So yeah, I think I don't necessarily come from a financially fortunate background. So I know what it's like to not have. You know, molimo. But ke khotse ko lelapeng le na leng lorato le lentsi. So and a lot of support. And I guess Jaka Kelefa today, it's because of that love and that support. Yeah.
Oh. So Momo ki yo kheko tertiary wilo it's a drama. Why drama?
Because it's what I loved. From a very young age. Like I say, my grand taught me how to sing at the age of 6. I started acting at the age of 6. And so when I went to this high school, I'm telling you about Sacred Heart College, and I found out that they have drama as a subject. I was like, of course I'm going to take it. And I was involved in all the school plays and all of that. And that's when I also started performing, acting professionally on TV. And so my father said to me, well, if you're really serious about becoming an actor, I would suggest that you go study so that you are an informed performer. And you make work that is informed. Because understand the craft and understand the power behind being able to create and influence people's minds and hearts. And so I went to Wits University. And I completed an honors degree in performance, film, and television. Those were my 2 majors.
Wow.
Yeah.
You know, ke rata how papa. because re gotse re lebella papa.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then ke motho e leng ko di acting le di directing.
Right.
Was he the inspiration behind this?
I think it's undeniable that he's part of what inspired me to continue with this craft. Apart from being born with it, I think it's a bit unfair for parents who are in the arts industry to expect their children to possibly have other kind of interests. We're not saying it's a must, right? But when you are growing up, kodi setting, when you are being fetched from school by production managers, and then you have to linger around a set and in your uniform, and you're meeting all these actors that you see on TV every single day, you also fall in love with that world. Like I say, I was born with the talent and the love and the passion for storytelling, and being in front of audiences. I was never, like I said, from 6 years old, I was performing. So I was never quite fazed by that. But definitely, Babaka, le career ya gagwe influenced it in a very big way. And it inspired me, and watching him work was also very inspirational, and he taught me a lot of things, like how to have a great work ethic and how to work with other people, how to respect other people, whether it's the lady who's cleaning your dressing room or set, all the way to the executive producers, and to constantly respect those you work with, because the industry is very small.
Yep.
And so tomorrow, the lady who's cleaning tomorrow could be your boss.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And so, of course, he's a huge inspiration for me. Very huge inspiration.
Because, a lot of parents hang ngwana a re ko bone ke lo etsa something in arts or media. Hey, ke ntwa. Yeah.
Yeah. Understandably so. I don't think I blame them. It's a very difficult industry to be in.
It is.
You need to be super resilient. You need to be ridiculously passionate and patient, and understand that it's a very tricky industry to be in and to work in. So I understand parents who are very wary of their kids getting into this industry. But if your child is talented enough, and they work hard enough, and if they have the right support, I don't think there's anything that can stop them.
True.
Mara, you just have to have a thick skin.
Yes. Yeah.
And nowadays, we are going to the same auditions with people who didn't study for the thing that we are doing. So our industry is not regulated. And so it's not guaranteed that just because you're talented, you're going to be successful. So you also need to be diverse in your skills. You need to think about, how else can I diversify? What other passions? Where else could I grow my skills, right? So that's why most artists have to do 2 or more things at a time in order to just make a decent living. You know what I mean? So that's why we go into directing or playwriting or teaching, because it also helps sustain the performance. Because if you just focus on the acting, ditloboa babes, and yeah.
Less stress.
Yeah, less stress.
Mama, okay, I reckon mo ge ke ofediso study then your first project e le go bila wa e kry ke efeng?
It's a renako. It's a renako.
Yes.
I didn't get work immediately after studying.
Wow.
We all kind of graduated, and then Ragradi agent, and we thought that once you have an agent, you're going to go to auditions, and then you're going to get your big gig, and then you're going to be a superstar. But life doesn't work like that.
Does it?
And so after about 6 months of not getting any work, a group of friends and we all studied at Wits.
Okay.
The 3 of us, well, it was 4 of us. So the 3 ladies and myself, we created a sketch comedy group called Thanks. And we used this as a platform to be able to create our own work and stage our work in independent theaters. And so once we did that, we were able to use our voices. We spoke about socioeconomic issues and political issues that affected us as young Black women at the time. And then as the years went by, maybe about 3 years later, then things started to kind of shape up. in the mainstream kind of sense.
Yeah.
And then we independently produced our own show called Have You Seen Zandile? It's a play written by Mamgcina Mhlophe, as well as Marilyn van Rienen, and there's another lady, excuse me, I forget her now. Askisi Kiahorata. And so we took this production and we rehearsed and we got space at the Market Theatre. And I think it was after this particular production that that a lot of people began to really recognize me in the theatre space. And I was nominated for 2 awards for it. So I think after Have You Seen Zandile, that's when people kind of were like, okay, who eats this girl?
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, but it wasn't an easy journey at all, like I say. So yeah, that independent space and putting on work in smaller independent theatres was really what helped propel me into the mainstream. Yeah.
Ke batla o nkise mo is it Zwakala Festival
Yes.
where you became a director?
Yes.
Was it last year, ne?
Yes.
Please tell me about it.
So the Zwakala Festival, it was actually quite full circle. So the Zwakala Festival is a festival in which marginalized or subaltern groups from who don't have access into mainstream theater spaces are able to enter, right? And and you enter this festival, and then through this festival, there's it's almost like a competition, right?
Yeah.
And then the groups keep dwindling down, and then eventually you end up with your top 8, and then from the top 8 you have a group of judges who will choose your top 4, and then the top 4, then the judges choose the winner. And then the winner of this festival gets an opportunity to have a season at the Market Theatre, right? Which is a huge opportunity. I think in 2015, myself and Thabiso Mala, who was the writer of a play called Tau, the 2 of us decided to enter this competition with this play. At the time, I was producing the play. And then we entered the competition and we made it through all these different levels. And I became a co-director on the production. And then we won the festival, and we enjoyed a highly successful run at the Market Theatre. And we, out of 7 nominations for Naledi Awards, I think we won about 3. So it was a huge opportunity for us. And that's what's great about this Zwakala Festival, is that it gives groups opportunities that wouldn't usually have access to the mainstream space, an opportunity to enter. And you also work with mentors who help you grow your work, from playwriting to directing to acting and storytelling, etc. And so that's why I say it's like a full circle moment, because then I was appointed the Zwakala Festival director, right? And so I was like, what?
Yes.
It was an amazing opportunity. And so now to be on the other side, where I'm the one who's choosing which productions are going to take part in the festival, along with my festival coordinator at the time, Ubabsi Pomwale. And we were traveling all over the country to basically find these shows. And we started, hundreds of applications, and then narrowed it down to about 15 shows that we saw and worked with, and then narrowed it down to the 8. I chose the top 8, and then went into processes of workshops with the shows. And then our judges then selected from the top 8 to the top 4. And then the winner of the festival was a play called Blacksmith, which then I mentored the director of. And they had a season at the Market last year in October. So it was quite a huge opportunity for me. I thoroughly enjoyed the process. Seeing the plays grow from what they were when you first interacted with them, to see the performers grow, to see them interacting in a professional space, in a professional theater, with professional lights and sound and design and everything, and access to costume and props. And it's such a profound process to be a part of. And I'm so grateful that I got the opportunity to have been the festival director for last year. I'm looking forward to this year's one. Tamim Bongo is the new festival director. So I'm excited to see how the festival grows. It's an incredible opportunity. And I hope that festivals like these continue to get funding and work in the future, because they are imperative to the growth of the industry and to giving young people a voice and opportunity and access access, which is the biggest thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, ga rena access.
Yes.
And go thata to crack into the mainstream.
It is.
So it was a huge opportunity, and I loved it, and it was highly successful. So I'm very proud of that too.
Momo, how le director yanong? Ki eng so se batlang? Ki yo motho ba tlo etsa play with? O shebile eng as a director?
Firstly, the story. Firstly, the story. What is the story about? Does it interest me? Is it a story I think I could tell? Would I be responsible with the story in my hands?
Yeah.
Does the writer trust me? And does the writer trust my vision and my artistic creativity? And then you get to the cast.
Yes.
Who's going to tell the story? I love working with people who have great experience.
Yeah.
I also love working with people who haven't had many opportunities. So I like bridging that gap. So that the process becomes a learning process for all of us, right? I'm looking to have fun in the space.
Yeah.
And I think as a director, you're also always looking for a team that will work well together. So part of the job is to also create a safe space where people can express themselves freely, where they can play, where they can feel like they're not going to be judged. Being a director is a huge responsibility because the process and how it unfolds is dependent on you. And so the tools that you employ in the space, the exercises that you do with the actors in getting them to be a team and an ensemble to work well together, that responsibility lies on you. You need to create a space where people feel free to come to you and say, Ish, Momo,
Yeah.
you know, and they can speak openly about some of the challenges that they're experiencing. Now, because of our work, sometimes our personal bleeds into the professional, right? And so you need to be able to hold space for your cast when people are going through certain things. How do you create a space where they feel held, but at the same time still achieving the objectives of getting the work done, right? Managing conflict between actors, or between us in the process, as well as the people in the offices who need certain things from us. How do we communicate and bridge those gaps? You know, then you've got your stage manager who's like your right hand man, who has to make sure that all the technical aspects of everything are coming together. Because once the show opens, technically the show is in their hands. So the director and the stage manager have to create a very good relationship. So you also need to choose someone you can rely on, someone you can trust, someone who is diligent in their work and will remember your vision even when you are not there, so that hey, let's director so you know, so that in as much as the show lives and grows without you, but you've got someone who's keeping an eye on it, so that the fundamentals of the work are not lost. Because lady actor ill-disciplined, and then about no director hiding, and then staging, and then you're like, oh my gosh, whose show is this? Who directed this? That wasn't me, you know. So it's a huge responsibility, but it's so beautiful when everything begins to come together. But every challenge, every process is very challenging and very different. And you have to adapt to that particular process. What might have worked in a process yesterday or in a different play might not necessarily work in this particular one. So you need to learn how to read the room. You need to learn how to read people. Because managing people is not easy. Managing different kinds of personalities is not easy. You know, so you need to have a particular skill and a way with people that there's common respect and common vision and discipline, but also that it's a space where people can enjoy being there. Yeah. But when they think of you, they mustn't think, oh my gosh. No, it must be like, she's tough, you know, which is what a lot of people say about, but she's hard, she's strict, she knows what she wants, but it's also such a great environment to work in. And I appreciate that. So yeah, that's, as a director, you're a leader. True. You're a leader, and what you bring to the space will determine how other people react, and what they and ultimately determine what they bring and how they bring it into the space. Yeah.
Now we man. You know, you touched on something there about experience.
Yes.
You know, 2 months ago, I had a director, ke motho o mogolo. So I got a perspective from her about in the industry. I don't think you've noticed about maybe they would say an influencer.
Right.
Whereas MoMo or
Right.
study
Yes.
when say everything, they would opt for influencer because of onality number and leave MoMo. What's your take on that as a young person?
Yo, hey, it's tough, man. It's tough. It's tough. It's tough. It's tough. It's tough because, and I like using this example because it's just true, right? I could never walk into a doctor's office or a surgery and be like, I'm ready to do a heart transplant, right? Like, I don't have the experience. I wouldn't know where to start. I would probably end up killing that person, right? And so, because as a doctor, you have to go train, you have to go to medical school, and then you specialize in whatever it is that you're going to be doing. So it's strange that people who don't have any acting experience can wake up and literally become an overnight sensation from making 1-minute videos on TikTok and then suddenly are cast as leads in productions when you have so many trained actors sitting at home. And every time we open whether these streaming services and you see these new shows, firstly, it's always the same actors. And secondly, it's always other people with a huge following. You know, we walk into audition rooms and we are asked, how many followers do we have? And it's very disheartening for someone who is a great talent, greatly skilled at what they do, disciplined, has a great work ethic, but also like, I studied, right? You know? So it's a tricky one because at the same time, the industry is not regulated. So there's no one saying, if you're not trained, you can't act. Hiding that thing, right? And some people who are influencers are talented, right? And I think what social media has shown us is that there's a lot of talented people in the world. A lot of talented people in the world. But and from a producing perspective, I also understand it from a production channel perspective. I understand it because channel wants the most people watching the show. And so this person who's got almost maybe 500,000 followers, those people are going to watch the show because of that person, right? So from a business perspective, I completely understand it. But from a industry perspective, it becomes very difficult for those of us who have been attending auditions, and then you attend auditions, and then the people you even auditioned with, none of you get it. You understand? And then the person who gets it wasn't even at the audition. So it's very disheartening and can be very discouraging. I think there needs to be a balance where we can achieve the same numbers game that you want to achieve, but also balancing it out with people who are actual trained actors. Because also from the stories that we see here and what we see on sets, also some of these influencers aren't necessarily the greatest people to work with, right? And so then they get on set and they don't understand the work ethic of being on set for 12 hours, right? It's a
1 minute.
It's a 1 minute. So, you know, how to set for 12 hours. Motho wa lapa, sa nna le attitude, o batla go treatwa yaka superstar, you know.
High cost let's say the production tšhelete ngata because when you know the thing,
absolutely. How tsena ko motho teng wa molato re, hi, sorry, can we please rehearse the scene? Yo, o tla go bolela hore no, we'll meet on set. I mean, okay, and then you get to set, and then motho teng ga itse di line o acta le script as se beile fa, you know, like, and then you wonder, what are these people looking for? So the production is compromising on the quality of the of the production simply because of numbers, right? So yeah, it's a tough conversation to have. I think I'm excited also by the prospect of people being able to use social media to get their talents out there. Because back in the day, there were many gatekeepers and it was only specific people who could grant opportunities, right? So I love the fact that social media has afforded us the space and the platform to just be yourself and to shine and to grow a following. I love that, right? You don't have to wait for anybody to cast you in anything. But at the same time, I think there is a responsibility on the production companies as well as channel to also upkeep the quality of certain things. Yeah. So it's a tough conversation. And I think it's a conversation that needs to be had really honestly. Within the industry.
Touch a conversation here.
No, hababati. Because then they also tell you things like, yeah, but it's not my fault.
You know.
And it's not. And I'm saying I admire that you have that platform and that kind of following. And as a business person, I understand why I would hire you. But we also need to think about the quality of the product so that as an industry, we don't end up just churning out superfluousness and work that has that's not rooted in any true talent and like real storytelling. You know? Yeah.
You know how when I'm thinking of something, looking into theater,
right?
The evolution of it. Ne? How do you think you guys are given so much recognition? I want to include the government in terms of funding. Are they recognizing you guys? Hey, Dawning Experience is sponsored by DreamStream. If you'd like to support us directly and gain ad-free version of our episodes, click on the link below.
I think it's a tricky one. I think theater in the country is certainly doing better, and I think even much better than it did before COVID. I feel like there's a different hunger for being in a live performance space now more than there was before. I think people in the country love live performance, whether it's especially music. Right? South Africans love music. We love stand-up comedy shows. But it's very difficult to fill up a season and a theater for a theater play. Right? And those are some of the challenges that we're facing. So from a funding perspective, I think particularly after the strike, Tabodi NAC and all of that, there's been a lot more transparency in terms of where the funding is going and who is getting the funding. So I think it helped a lot of the protests that happened, where people were really fighting and doing sit-ins and not moving and saying, we need answers. Why are these people always the ones getting funding? Is it because of their political affiliations to certain parties? So there was a lot of corruption that was taking place where a lot of the art money was being chowed, and not getting to the people who actually need it, right? And particularly especially for the independent theater practitioners, where we would apply, but every year we are told the same thing and we're not getting the funding. But you're not given also a specific reason. There's like these what is it called when it's like a generic, these generic responses that we get via email. But there aren't any reasons. Like, it's not specific. It just kind of says, you just didn't receive the funding. Please apply again next year. Right? Just like that. So even in your proposal, you don't know what you need to fix. You don't know what you can do better so that the next time you apply, you can also get the funding. So theater is very difficult, but there are lots of people who are attending theater. Let's not get that twisted. There are a lot of people who attend theater. I think we also just need to do better, in the marketing of our shows. I think sometimes we have a tendency to undermine the planning that people make on their budgets. I think theater sometimes takes that for granted, where you think you can put out a poster 1 month before the show. That doesn't work. That doesn't work. That undermines the planning of the people who actually come. 1 month is short. People plan with their salaries, right? And if you look at, like, I was talking to Loiso Matinga, who's a stand-up comedian, and he was saying he tries to, when he's producing a show, work with a 3-month salary marketing campaign, right? So the more people see it for 3 months, if you're seeing this particular thing, by the second month, you've made plans for it. You've told other people, you said, Chomi, kadikana, re ako showing ena. Understand? And then and once people have bought tickets, it's very difficult for them to miss the show because it's already late, you know. So sometimes I think we also are slacking when it comes to our marketing. A friend of mine was saying we need to be selling our shows as much as we sell cool drink. You know, like that kind of marketing that's like just out there. A billboard on a highway, it can work for visibility, which already we're doing. But I don't think that's enough. So our marketing strategies need to grow within the theatre space, I think. I think also we need to find ways of bringing the theatre to the people. I think, yes, there are people who can afford to come to the theatre, who drive, who can take Ubers, right? But also the larger majority of the people, the taxi go breed, they feel like 80. And then when your show starts at 8. So how are they going to get to watch the show, right? So we need to also be taking the work to the people themselves, because I think also the idea of the traditional theater is a very Western idea, and so we need to break the format. But it also depends on the kind of shows we're making. Who are we making the shows for? Who are the shows about? So yeah, in as much as the funding is also highly problematic, arts in general in this country, we are taken as Popeyes, and we are just called for entertainment, kadi celebration, kadi whatever. Or you need to know somebody who knows somebody, right? So as a sector, we are not where we could be, but I definitely think the fact that theaters are still producing works, actors are being employed, I think that's a very great sign, and that audiences are coming. So clearly this is something that people want. But we also on our side could be doing a lot more in getting the people involved in the theatre, because there has been a shift. Historically, theatre in this country was very political, and it was serving a purpose in the liberation of our country, right? So now we need to be rethinking the kind of works that we are doing, and why are we doing the kind of works that we are doing? Are we just entertaining people, or are we trying to also serve the purpose that theatre used to serve back then, where we are trying to inspire and get people to think critically about the society that they live in, so that we can actually create real change, in the world. Bona. One day I'll have a school. Yeah.
Because someone thinking more and that's what we want.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
You know, Momo, I wanted to also take it to last year, 2023, Standard Bank young artist. Young artist for theatre.
Bona. So this is one of the biggest accolades one can get in the country as an artist, right? Because there's also different disciplines. So there's theatre, there's music, there's visual art, there's performance art, there's jazz, right? And there's dance. This award has existed since 1981. Okay? Huge stars in our country have won this. My goodness, from the legendary Mama Janice Honeyman, the late Mbongeni Ngema. This award has been won by many. So you see the names I'm mentioning. They won this award years back in the 80s, 90s. Well, do you understand the legacy that comes with this award? And so this award is given to people who have made a mark in the industry in their particular disciplines. And they're getting recognition for the hard work and the excellence that they have poured and that they've showcased in their particular discipline. So this is an honor. This is the industry saying to me that MoMo Matsunyane, Rakobona, we salute you, we applaud you, and we recognize the hard work and the excellence that you have displayed in your work. So it's a great sign of validation.
It is.
For the hard work that I have put into my craft. It's been 19 years of hard work. This year, I think, is my 20th year working professionally as an artist. And so so when I got the call, so this is an award everyone wants.
Of course.
You know? Yeah. Mara Hanzo Bereka, you're not thinking about getting a Stand Up Bank Young Artist Award. You're just working because this is what you love to do, you know? And I just focused on me and I did my work, and I've been working very hard with all the challenges. And so when Standard Bank reached out, so this is the award is from the National Arts Festival. And then in 1984, Standard Bank then bought the naming rights of the award and became the funder for it. That's why they call the Standard Bank Young Artist Awards. Mara di thomilwe ke the National Arts Festival.
Right.
And so the National Arts Festival Committee, they select each year's cohorts, and who gets to win. And so I got a call from the National Arts Festival with the show I was telling you about, Blacksmith, that I was mentoring. I'm sitting in the theater, we're doing a technical rehearsal, and I get the phone call and it says, listen, this is Rusira from NAF. Just calling to let you know that you have been selected as this year's Stand Up Bank Young Artist Award winner for theater. Did I not scream? The scream, I scrumped in there. I was just like, what? Oh my God, this is amazing. And I was over the moon and I was so excited and so thrilled. I was like, oh my word, me. But at the same time, I'm going, yes, me.
Yeah, you deserve it.
Exactly. So I was thrilled. I was so thrilled. But then I had to sign an NDA. I couldn't say anything until December the 5th, when they would officially have the award ceremony. And I'm nominated, and I won with a great group of people. Zoe Mudicha won for music.
So the list does
Lauren Suku for dance, and Stephanie Conradi visual arts, Darren English for jazz, Angel Ho for visual for performance art. So like, I'm just looking at the people. I'm also just like, oh my gosh, guys, like this is us. This is us. You know? So this is a great opportunity. And Standard Bank, after inducting us, was saying, listen, welcome to the Standard Bank family. And we hope that the relationship will not end after, you know, you are done. Because part of the prize, so you get a prize money. And then on top of that, you have to create a performance or a new piece of work that will premiere at this year's National Arts Festival. So I'm super excited to premiere my new play. It's called Kalibitso la Moya. I'll be writing and directing it. I'm super excited for it. It's a play I've been working on for the past few years, and now it's finally going to get an opportunity to live. So yeah, I'm thrilled and greatly honored. It's a great award to win. And I do hope that my relationship with Standard Bank doesn't end after National Arts Festival. You know what I mean? Well, they said I'm family now.
Exactly.
So this is it. Yeah, no. And I'm hoping that this will just elevate my career onto the next level.
So the show is it this year?
Yes, this year. So we debut NAF. I think we are... Is it the last 2 weeks of June, if I'm not mistaken? I think the 10th until the 20th of June, if I'm not mistaken. That's when the festival is. And then when we come back, we will be, because the show is also going to be co-produced by the Market Theatre. So we'll be playing at the Market Theatre as well afterwards. So I'm super excited. You are my guests.
Okay, Momo, we're thinking, you inspiring the young person, or we're thinking, I've been watching Momo and I want to get into this path.
Hey. Firstly, you need to be certain that this is really what you want to do. You need to be certain of your why. Why do you want to be an artist? Why do you want to be an actor?
Yeah.
If you just want to be famous, okay, cool. But understand that there's no longevity in that. Nah? You can be famous today and then tomorrow you're not. So why? Okay? To choose to be an artist is to choose to live very differently from many people. You do not have the comfort of a salary.
Hey.
You are, you're a freelancer. You're literally functioning off of faith and belief in you, in your work. Excuse me, and in the power of that. I would encourage them. I think nowadays, nowadays you don't have to study like me, going for 4 years at Wits University. But I would advise some sort of training. There are some great programs, whether it's with Actor Spaces, they've got 6-month training programs where you just learn certain skills and techniques. There's the Market Theatre Laboratory where they've got shorter courses. There's part-time courses for Saturday only, or the full-time course, but it's only 2 years, right? So there's different ways of getting trained now. And there's some of my colleagues who give classes for people, and you can have one-on-one or, so I would advise any kind of experience, training, just sharpen your knowledge about the industry, about acting, storytelling, movement, body, physical theater, voice. These are all the different components that go into being a performer, right? And then once you have that training, I think it would be important. Firstly, you need to get an agent. Yes. That's another thing. I think I get so many inboxes and people saying to me, if you have auditions, please let me know. You're not going to get work like that. Yeah. Or you might be lucky and I go, oh yes, absolutely. In fact, I'm holding auditions tomorrow, right? You might get lucky in that sense, but it's not sustainable. Yeah, true. It's not sustainable. So when you have an agent, you have not only representation, but you also have somebody who is actively looking for work for you, and then they can send you to the places so that you can go and audition, because it's a mutually beneficial relationship. When you get work, your agent gets money, right? So they are working for you. You know what I mean? So get an agent, get great headshots, email you the agents out there, as many as possible, see as many of them as possible, and then choose the one that you feel like would be a comfortable fit for you. There will be some things that you're going to have to do for pay that you might not necessarily be happy about, because this industry is very tricky like that. And then you grow though, but you grow in the industry, understand things like rates, understand the laws around certain things, understand that if there are moments or spaces that you feel uncomfortable in, you need to get out of there. Understand that if an agency ever asks you to pay to join them, it's a scam. You need to get out of there. Nobody will ever make you pay to join an agency. You need, and familiarize yourself with the industry. So go to shows, be around people. I was very eager and very hungry, and I would go to people and say, hi, my name is MoMo Matsunyane.
That's how it's done.
If you're looking for if you're looking for someone to make you tea in your rehearsal, I'm here, never mind the fact that I'm trained. But I used to go around offering myself to certain spaces, because I knew that sometimes you just have to kick the door open, or invite yourself to certain processes after shows. Hang around to speak to the people in the industry. Skaba, lidikong, skaswaba. Yes.
Someone said to me, sometimes you get to go style, like you're saying.
That's all.
Yeah.
That's all, babes. So that you can learn as much as possible. You understand what I mean? I have people now coming to me asking can I pop into your rehearsals and just watch you work for a couple of days? Absolutely. That's how we learn. That's how we grow in the industry. That's how we make connections. You know what I mean? And from making that tea and coffee one day an actor is absent, I get to sit in and then I get to read, and then the director's like, who are you? You understand what I mean? So our industry is not set. There's no one particular thing. But if we learn to humble ourselves to the process, understand that we're not going to be overnight sensations, understand that I have to respect my craft, understand that I need to respect the people I'm working with, and respect the industry. And that's why I wish we were more regulated, so that it's people who love this thing fully who are actually working in it. Not batho ba tla o kopa ngore, di momsa. Ongifake lapho ntwana yami nami ngizo-acta nyana da.
Aye.
It's offensive, that thing. It's offensive. You know, I can't just
Hey
Joe. Awunkenyela ko bankeng. I don't know accounting. I don't know general ledgers. I didn't study those things. So why would I want to work in a bank simply because it looks like people who work in a bank have money? You understand what I mean? So there's a common misconception about this industry, but it's also not helping because we're also the ones perpetuating it.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And it's a free for all. And I like open auditions. They're great opportunities, especially for people who are talented and don't have access. But we also need to be clear that, okay, we are choosing you because you're talented, but also understand that there's room for you to grow. So sometimes umuntu bamspota ema shop and then bamthatha sakacanga ukuthi mina ngispota ema shop mina so mina ngiyinja yegame.
Yeah.
Muthateng. Haiti the first thing what it means to create a character and then you must act alongside them. You know what I mean? So yeah, but I would say like fight for what you love. There's room for all of us in the industry to shine and to grow. Fight and be resilient. Be resilient and understand that the journey, is going to be hard, but it's so rewarding. And humble yourself. Stay humble and hungry. Learn.
And when it's your time, it's your time.
It's yours. Whatever's yours will never miss you. You know what I mean? Whatever is yours will never, ever miss you. Yeah. Yeah.
Momo, as you're about to wrap up, it's how nahana mo channel in the actress, man. This camera has to work more. I wanted to take you back to your first acting audition.
Oh my word. Sure, but I do remember my first audition for TV. It was for an advert. Yeah. Yadi pads. And I remember making a mistake.
Yeah.
Kadi line it's Azankala so akifika ko high. So ka it's audition, ka actor. And then barakat, thank you. Katswa. And in Aristoki teacher waka wa drama, Mrs. Baker, at the time she was still married. And she took us and I thought, oh my God. I knew I'd messed up. I forgot my lines and but I wasn't bad.
Yeah.
But the way I cried. Now when I think about it, I laugh because you think it's the end of the world when you're still starting. You think and you hang on to that audition. You're like, body pads it's and they're like, babes, if they haven't said anything by now, babes, you know. And I remember feeling so down and feeling like I'll never work in the industry again. Now I laugh about it. It's like, do you know how many auditions I go to?
Yeah.
A year. Like, babes, this is part of the work. Now you get in there. By the time you leave, you forget about it. Because you're just like, I'm not going to hang on to any of that. Because you never know what they're looking for. You could give the most beautiful audition. Yeah. But then they're looking for someone taller. They're looking for someone thinner. They're looking for someone darker. You just never know. You just never know. I'm now on the other end, right? So I recently was holding auditions because I'll be directing a show at the market called The Cry of Winnie Mandela. And I'm the one now who's having to choose. And I'm seeing amazing actors, right? And then you understand. You know that it's not because you're not talented, but it's just sometimes certain things where we're just looking for a particular thing. I need the cast to be slightly older. I'm going to go with the lady Onaling Zimbanyana because I can make her look older. Or, you know, I used to be a casting director. It's not necessarily because you're not talented. And so when you get that experience and you understand that, of course I'm talented. I can act and I know I'm brilliant at it. You know, but what's mine will find me. And then there are roles where they go, Momo, you got the job. You know, and then you get it and the character and you're like, and then you kill it. And then people watch and they go, that is so you. That role was yours. And then you get why you got that role and not the 50 other roles that you attended auditions for. You know, so it's very tricky. So you have to have incredible belief in yourself.
Hey, usala.
Yeah. I mean, illa, but understand that it has no fits all. Baby girl, move on and go to the next audition.
Yeah.
Go to the next audition. Like, it's not the end of the world. I laugh now, like, when I think about how much I cried that day.
Yeah.
And I was like 14 years old, you know, and then you thought, yo.
But you're still young, so.
I was very young. And this was before I got my first television role was on Tetam Sawawa 2, season 2. And I was playing Lerato. And that was when, and I got that role. Yeah. You know what I mean? So after the always and the what, I was like, and then I get that one. Can take it like
yes.
You know what I mean? And I remember the audition vividly. And the director, and we did some improv work, right? So there was no script, and I had to just showcase my talent based on a situation. And I was playing a 15-year-old who had to tell their mom that they're pregnant, and that was my audition. And I just did the scene, and
you're about to do that audition right now.
Never.
A 15-year-old.
Never. Nix. I get paid to act, darling.
15 seconds.
Nix, baby girl. Nix is wrong. Etlang le tla sheba di show, etlang le tla re bona ko di theater, le tla bona gore Sure. I'm available on all social media platforms. On Instagram, I'm MoMo_Matsunyane. On Facebook, at MoMo Matsunyane. I have an X account, but I'm not active, so I wouldn't invest in that one. And I upload all my information about all the shows across my social media. And then I'm currently going to be directing a play at the Market Theatre called The Cry of Winnie Mandela. It opens from the 30th of March until the 21st of April. And then I will be going to Makanda with my new play, Kalibitso La Moya, which will be premiering as part of the Standard Bank Young Artist Award win. But lots of exciting things happening, but follow me in order to keep up. But yeah, come to the Market Theatre and check out some amazing work. Yeah.
Namara hides an audition and it's fine.
Never. Never, babes. Let's imagine so actor.
Momo, thank you so much for gracing us.
Thank you for having me.
You are so amazing. Your aura, everything. And I wish you all the best.
Thank you, and I wish you all the best. Thank you so much.
And a shout out to Standard Bank for offering us the artist one, because I think you're going to see even more. And we really love that. For tuning in into the dawning experience with Chami Moroke.
But anyways, go to Dawning Experience on YouTube, like, comment, and most importantly, subscribe.